Chapter 18, December 1969. Dr. Harvey watched as two women approached him. He then gazed down at the wheelchair at which he was sitting and at his own hands and arms. The shining metal frame of the chair appeared new, but his hands and arms were old, thin, and wrinkled. He moved his hands from the arms of the chair onto bone-thin legs. He looked around the room, which was lined by 2 rooms of single beds, 6 in each row. Electric lights suspended from the high ceiling illuminated the room, as did daylight through several mullioned windows on one side. Other men dressed like him were sitting on beds or walking around the room. One of the women approaching him wore a nurse's uniform. He realized he was a patient in a hospital. The other woman was wearing a blue dress with the hem extending to mid-calf and the sleeves to mid-forearm. It was buttoned in front from the collar area to mid-bust and appeared warm, although the fabric was not wool. She wore a silver necklace and glasses with thin silver-colored rims. Her gray hair was combed back and extended below her ears, but not to her shoulders. Her solid black shoes were each secured with a 3-row shoelace supported in the back by a 2-inch heel. She had a confident posture and a steady gait. Her facial features, especially her eyes, were familiar. Did he know her? She asked, "Dr. Harvey? Is Saidas? Is it you?" When he heard her voice, he knew who she was. "Gert," he said, "it's so good to see you. You are older, yet your eyes, your voice, it's you." He extended his hands and she grasped them. Tears streamed down her face and down his. "Gert, how are you?" "I am fine. I thought I would never see you again." She leaned forward and hugged him. "Where are we, and how did you find me?" he asked. "We are at the state hospital in Warm Springs," she replied. "I received a letter from a doctor here. I could hardly believe what I read. Now I see it is true." She leaned forward again and hugged him even more tightly. "The letter said you had not spoken and rarely moved since you came here and were given a new medication. Once you spoke, you said, 'My name, Gert Mueller.' You said you wanted someone to let me know you were here." The woman in the nurse's uniform said, "Yes, Dr. Harvey. Gert still lives in Forsyth, and we were able to find her. We have wanted to talk with you for a long time. Now it looks like we finally can. There is much the doctors and nurses would like to learn. You have an unusual condition, encephalitis lethargica, and because of this you have been unable to talk or move. One of our doctors learned of a breakthrough in treating this condition. At a hospital in New York City, a new medication was given to patients with your condition, and they responded in a remarkable way, and you have also responded. Some of us feel this has almost been a miracle. We are all thrilled to get to know you." He was trying to comprehend what he was being told. Neither smiling nor frowning, he stared intensely at the nurse. When he shifted his gaze to Gert, he felt relief and a need to learn what happened to her, to May, and to the others from Forsyth while he had been away. A flood of questions began to flow. "Gert, did your sister and brother come to live with you? How is Jana Mueller? How is May? Have the sedation accusations ceased? Is sauerkraut, not Liberty cabbage, on the menu of the cafe? Is there a hospital in Forsyth? Oh, I have so many questions. How long will you be able to visit?" Gert looked fondly at him. "Ja, mein Schweitzer und my Bruder came to Montana." She paused before continuing, "But I am sorry to say that Frau Mueller and May have both died. The sedation talk ended, but it ruined so many lives. Some of those convicted spent years in prison at Deer Lodge, only a few miles from here." Tears welled up in her eyes. There was another war again with Germany, but also with Japan. Japanese Americans were moved from their homes and confined in camps in Wyoming, Idaho, and other states. "Oh my," he said, "another war? Liberties deprived again?" "Yeah, and yet another war is happening now. There is so much to tell." Gert then asked the nurse, "Is there a more private place where we could talk?" "Of course, come with me," she replied as she began to push the wheelchair with Dr. Harvey towards the door to leave the large room. He asked, "May I have a writing tablet and a pencil? I want to write down what I am remembering." "Of course," the nurse replied again. As they approached the door, he was thinking, "I remember listening to nurses at Deaconess Hospital. I remember the railway station and many Forsyth people who were there. I remember Marie." He felt very sad, but continued his thoughts. "Oh my, I am so old now." Gert said softly, "Das Leben ist ungerecht. So much of life has not been fair." He thought about this. "Fair? I guess not. I had a longer life than did Marie or our unborn baby. I bore different burdens than did Mr. Mueller or Gert. Not every painter is a Michelangelo or every writer a Shakespeare. Maybe the white-robed fates spun and wove the thread of life. If so, I must record my memories before the inevitable cut of that thread.